Let's move on to story number 7. This is reported by the Trentonian. I can't wait to read you a quote here, Will. I can't wait to read you this quote. So let me start by asking you, have you ever worked in a government building or a city building?
Government building, yes.
You worked in a government building. Okay. So I haven't. I imagine that things are probably buttoned up, right? Like it's probably a more official or serious than the private sector, I imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to get tuberculosis or TB tested just to even work there.
Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's a good piece of information for this story. So there's a woman named Yvette Graffy Cooper, and she's the city health officer in Trenton, New Jersey, and she is under investigation after a video was brought to light of her in a conference room located inside a city building. So she's at her place of work. She's in a government building. She's in the conference room. Video has her under investigation. Any idea what she did?
Not a clue.
She stripped down to her bra and underwear. She bent over a massage table and she underwent a cellulite reduction treatment right there in the government building. Joel, do you have that picture? There you go, Will. Right there in the government building. Best place to do that. So as you can imagine, Ms. Cooper, she's placed on leave while the investigation plays out. The mayor of Trenton, the city mayor, his name is Reed Gussiora. He was asked whether he would feel comfortable lounging around City Hall shirtless and in briefs. And his response was, I don't have that exciting of a life. But here's the best part. This is the best part. And I had to double check that this was even real. So there's a councilman in the South Ward in Trenton. His name is George Mushall. And he was asked about this story. So they asked Councilman Mushall, what do you think about the city health officer, getting caught in the government building there in her bra and panties, getting a cellulite wrap? Here's a quote from Councilman Mushall from the Trentonian. Quote, who wants to see fucking ass and shit?
Who wants to see fucking ass and shit? No, that needs to be like on the state crest at that point. Just who wants to see fucking ass and shit? I love it.
This is literally what he said. And then he added, I think it's inappropriate. It bothers my wife. It's nasty. And this is what the councilman said. So let me ask you. So, okay, you worked in a government building. Have you ever been witness to or a participant in any office shenanigans?
Not in a government building, no.
You left that open-ended. Have you ever been witness or participant to office shenanigans not in a government building?
Sure. That's all I'll say, because I may still have that job. So we'll just leave it at that.
Fascinating. If Will's place of work watches this, feel free to reach out to me. And this is reported by the Road and Track. Are you a car guy, Will?
I drive one. Two. I drive two, but other than that, not really.
Okay, so do you have a dream car?
I guess a Tesla Model X just for the status.
Okay, but otherwise you're not one of these, oh, I need to have this Ford model whatever from whatever year. Like, you're not one of those guys.
Nah.
Okay, so there's a 50-year-old man from Boca Raton, Florida. His name is Robert J Guarini, and he went to a Barrett-Jackson auction in Palm Beach, and he bought his dream car because he is a car guy. So he bought his dream car. It's a 2006 Heritage Edition GT, and it costs $704,000. Joel, you have the picture of that car? Look at that car. Look at that thing. So he picked up his dream car, paid over $700,000 for it. He got it home to Boca Raton. Really happy with his acquisition. Will Washington, any idea what happened next?
Did he total it?
So he crashed it into a tree. Basically got it home, pulled it out of his housing development, crashed it into a tree. And why do you think he crashed? Like, what do you think happened? What happened that led to him crashing it into a tree?
Was he getting roadhead by chance?
Probably a better explanation than what really happened. So Mr. Guarini, who spent $700,000 on a car, bought himself a car when he didn't know how to drive stick. And so as a result, he crashed the car. Joel, show the aftermath. There's the aftermath. Look at that.
Okay, wait. We got to back this up. We got to back up for a sec. First off, I mentioned not a car guy, right? But I do know how to drive a stick. First car is actually a stick.
There you go.
Not a car guy. How could you possibly even fathom calling yourself a car guy and have a dream car along those lines and not be able to drive an automatic? Not automatic, a manual. To drive a manual.
I'm wondering if this guy might be friends with a guy who scheduled a soul food festival in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Right. Like, I don't understand how you could even go through this thought process and then think, like, when the car's in front of you and you're like, oh, this is a manual transmission. I got this. Like, and make this the first car that I'm going to try this in. Like, it's a process. It's definitely, it's a process, and it's a frustrating process. I almost came to tears the first time I had to learn how to drive one because my dad was just like, look, you got to learn this. And I'm like, no, I can't. And it was so frustrating. I'm like, I just want to drive. And he's like, if this is going to be your first car, you are going to drive a stick. And eventually, after like 3 days, I finally got it. And now it's like second nature. But again, would not make that my first car.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't have taken your blackjack winnings,
no,
and then buy yourself a car with a transmission that you can't even drive. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Well, this guy told police that he lost control after downshifting while leaving his housing development, and he hit a palm tree head on because he's in Florida. According to the police report, he told officers he didn't have experience with manual transmission, but you know what happens, right? So as soon as this makes the news, and as soon as the journalist finds the guy's information and calls him, then the story changes a little bit. So when Road and Track reached out to him, he tried to change his tune. He said, the tires were old and the pavement was muddy, and all of that factored into me driving straight across the road and hitting a palm tree head on, even though he told the cops that he didn't know how to drive stick. So I guess that's where it went. So I gotta ask you this to close this story. And I asked a previous guest this, and so I'll ask you: have you been involved in a car crash?
Oh yeah, just like a month and a half ago. Haven't even closed the insurance claim.
You said that so nonchalantly, like it almost sounds like it's a biannual situation.
No, it had been a long time since I've been in one. But yeah, I literally just gotten one leaving my subdivision. It was a left turn I make literally every day, taking my kids to school. And for whatever reason, actually, I know the reason. I'm not blaming, but I will say that one of the things that my wife does when she takes my car, and it irks the hell out of me, is that she will bring the visors down. And I don't drive with the visors down. I just wear sunglasses and I drive. She will bring the visors down. And so she had the passenger seat visor down, and I didn't notice it was down. And so as I'm making this left turn, I look out to my right, and what I thought was clear was not. There's right in my line of vision, I guess there was a car there. So I turn out into traffic, and this car smacks right into me. And that was that. Totally my fault. And I accept the blame for that. But I will say that my view was obstructed by the visor. And well, I only realized that too because I didn't realize it the first time. And I thought, like, how did that car come out of nowhere? I make that turn literally every day. And yet I did not see that car out of my periphery.
It almost sounds like the Truman Show.
And then the thing that had happened, that's probably a good point, but the thing that had happened later was I was taking the same car a couple of days later and almost got into a very similar accident, turning left, and almost missed the car. And I thought, what the hell? How did this happen like 2 days later? And then I look up and I'm like, the visor's here. Other thing I once did was I did accidentally, when I was, I think, 20, I did crash into a tree one time. So this was like 14, 15 years ago. And it was a parking lot tree. Shout out to my friend Carolina for this one. But it was one of those trees that was just in like the little middle part in a parking lot. And I hit the tree, and the tree fell over onto a car. And
how hard did, wait, whoa. How hard did you hit a tree?
So it was like I said, it's one of those like parking lot trees where it didn't really have much stability. It was like held
Okay.
up by the sticks. Like
Okay. So you're not hitting an oak or anything.
no, it wasn't like a oak or something that was like deeply planted.
Okay.
And so it falls over onto this car. I run inside where my friend Carolina, who I was meeting up with, is, and I'm like, Carolina, I fucked up. I need your help. And she like runs outside, and it's snowing, and we both like lift this tree off this car. Like there was like, I don't think there was any damage. I don't know, because I was 20 and like totally ran. If you like found a bunch of leaves on your car in the state of Colorado 15 years ago, it was probably me, and I'm sorry. But like we got the tree back up, and it's just covered in leaves. We may have scratched it, I don't know. But we were like, okay, get the fuck out of here. And we're like, we're doing something else. We're going literally any place else because I just knocked this tree over on this car.
That person will be watching this podcast. I will provide them with your contact information. And note to self, let's get Will Washington a bus pass. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That might be better for everybody.
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. Otherwise, we'll start posting spoilers about your favorite new movies.